Yo, 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 what the hell is up? I was supposed to make this video like 2 days ago, but I need to stop bullshitting with y'all, man. And when I say I didn't make videos, I need to really get on that shit. I ain't doing shit, but this quarantine just got a nigga sluggish as hell, bro. Like, I don't even be wanting to work out. Like, I got some dumbbells in my room. I got an ab roller, some resistance bands. You know, I could work out, but just this whole lockdown shit is very demoralizing. I already know how y'all feel, but we gonna get through this shit. But shout out to my dog Miguel Antunez. He requested me to do this video from my top 10 all-time favorite wrestlers. And some of these guys you might agree, and some of them you might not agree, but this is my top 10, so fuck what you heard. Alright, so let's get right into it. Number 10, Latino Heat, Eddie Guerrero. Man, this dude was so damn entertaining. He actually made SmackDown fun to watch. Because I was like in middle school when he really started to shine, especially with the whole lie, cheat, and steal thing. Man, the shit him and Chavo used to do was so damn funny. And how he was just able to get over with the crowd with his little antics. It was great. He made it work as a face and as a heel. He always had good promos. He always showed some personality, whether that be lie, cheat, and steal, Latino Heat, him being a dickhead heel when he was feuding with Ray. Eddie Guerrero just got it. He had it all. Despite his size, he made the most with what he had. Unlike a lot of these other jobbers that are small, they don't fucking go to the gym and they don't learn how to cut a promo or develop a character. Eddie Guerrero got that, and that's why he became a world champion and was actually going to win the world heavyweight title from Batista at one point, but you already know what happened, his untimely death. So rest in peace, Latino Heat. Number 9, Jeff Hardy. And the reason I really fuck with Jeff is because I felt like I used to connect with Jeff Hardy in a way. No homo. But, shit, most wrestling fans, I ain't gonna even cap with y'all, bro. I was kind of a weirdo growing up. And I used to think that the shit Jeff Hardy did was so cool because it's so different. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a weird motherfucker. And I was like, yo, this guy's weird too, but he's cool, And he always stayed over. Like, how many times have you seen Jeff Hardy turn heel in his career? I mean, he's turned heel like what, twice? I mean, that forgettable heel run he had in like the end of 2002 before he left the company, and then TNA. But really, when have you seen Jeff Hardy become a heel? It's hard to because he's so damn likable. It's 2019 and he still as over as he was in the 2000s. I still think he's the better Hardy, and Vince McMahon sees that. That's why he put the belt on him a couple times. Jeff can still do all the things he's done. I mean, he suffered some injuries recently, but before he was able to do all this shit, and he never really suffered no major injuries. But Jeff Hardy was always entertaining. He always found a way to steal the show, and he always found cool new ways to put his body on the line. The motherfucking charismatic enigma. Yeah. All right, number 8. The rated R superstar Edge. Man, yo, I was always a fucking Edge head, bro. I fucked with Edge heavy. And here's one of the reasons why. He always had cool theme music. From his You Think You Know Me, his original stint, and then his song with Rob Zombie, that song was dope as fuck. And then Metalingus from Alter Bridge, yo, like, I actually listened to Alter Bridge, and I had that album, and that was one of my favorite songs. So then when Edge came out to it, I said, oh shit, he's coming out to fucking, a matter of fact, on the album is track 5. That's how much I remember it. Because I was like a freshman in high school, I want to say, when that album came out, and Alter Bridge had the song called Open Your Eyes that was pretty dope. That would come on like VH1 in the morning, you know, when they still show music videos and shit. I know I'm going on a little side rant here, but yeah, I was kind of a big Alter Bridge fan. I liked their sound. They kind of sounded like Creed, but a little bit more grungy, I guess. And when Edge came out to that song, I low-key marked out. And, you know, I was always a fan of his work. I was always a fan of his style. I liked how he was able to play different characters. I mean, come on now. He went from a vampire jobber to becoming the most hated man in the company to becoming one of the most beloved wrestlers of all time. I mean, done it all, won it all. What, King of the Ring, Royal Rumble, multiple world championships. Like, Edge, man. Edge, he was the perfect heel for John Cena. You know what I'm saying? So people who get mad about the Cena PG shit, he was that perfect guy. He was able to be the rated R superstar to fight Super Cena. And man, people be sleep on Edge. I don't feel like Edge gets enough props that he does. Like I'm not gonna even lie. I used to hate that motherfucker too. Like he would do shit. I'd be like, I can't stand this motherfucker. And I guess that was him playing a good heel now that I'm old enough to understand. But like when I was like in high school and shit, I was like, man, fuck Edge. This motherfucker fucking shit up. Man, I used to hate with that motherfucker, especially when he cashed in Money in the Bank on Undertaker. Man, that shit had me hot, bro. I was like, yo, that's some bitch ass shit. But that's what he does. I mean, that's what a heel was supposed to do. A heel was supposed to piss you off. All right, number 7. Man, it's the Booker Man, y'all. Can you dig it? Remember that theme song Booker T came out with when they made that little album when they was rapping and shit? Man, Booker T. I've always admired this guy. You know, he was one of the guys who really understood wrestling. This guy has always been charismatic, always found ways to get himself over, always was able to create new characters, you know, King Booker being one of them. And King Booker was entertaining. Yeah, he was a fucking douchebag, but it was entertaining nonetheless. And I still feel like if there was any match he should have won, I mean, we all say it, he should have beat Triple H at WrestleMania. Or if you're gonna have Triple H go over, he should have gone over on like a heel finish, not fucking get a pedigree and stay on the ground for fucking 30 seconds and then you pin him. Like that's a total burial, man. Especially with the whole, you know, black white thing. And me being a black guy, I was able to kind of see where Booker T was coming from, in a sense. You know, dealing with racism and all that type of shit. Yes, motherfuckers, racism still goes on in America. And I live in LA. So you already know the cops out here ain't shit. But yeah, man, I've always been a big fan of Booker T, multiple time world champion. You know, I didn't really see a whole lot of his WCW shit. But I do remember like tracing some old clips from his WCW shit, you know. I've seen more of his WWE run because I was actually watching WWE. So Booker T, number 7. Number 6. I know a lot of people are probably gonna be like, huh? Motherfucking R-Truth, bro. Or Ron Killings. See, the reason that his career didn't really take off the way it should have is because when he came in what, in like late 2000. And then a couple months later, Vince McMahon bought WCW and ECW or whatever. And they had this invasion angle and they were going to be building, you know, some of those stars. I mean, they had Booker T, RVD, DDP, etc. So there really wasn't no room for him. And it kind of, you know, he kind of got put in the back burner and he eventually got released. But his TNA run is what I want to talk about. He was the shit in TNA. And that's how you make a new star. You listen to AEW fans? They surprised everybody by not only putting their top title on a WWE guy, but a WWE guy who they looked at as a jobber. and they made a new star, or they made him the star that WWE didn't do, you know? And his run was so good that he was able to come back to WWE, and he's still as popular as ever. And all these guys complain about, oh, this guy's getting buried, this guy's getting buried. I'm like, yo, R-Truth should have held at least 2 world titles by now. I mean, the dude is almost 50. He's in great fucking shape. He's good on the mic. He's charismatic as fuck. The bullshit that he's given, and if you watch the show, he's giving some of the worst shit, but he makes it work. And I can respect that. And at least he tries. His song is still popular to this day. Go to a fucking live event or go to a show and R-Truth comes out. Everybody's in the fucking crowd singing "What's Up." He's had that same song since TNA, bro. And shit, he was a star with 3 Live Crew. That shit was live. You know, first black NWA champion ever. I can respect that, man. R-Truth is a bona fide Hall of Famer. I hope that he does get one more main event push before he hangs it up. I mean, they putting the belt on old niggas. I mean, why not put it on R-Truth? At least he'll find a way to make that shit entertaining. Number 5, Randy Orton. You know, a lot of people are very neutral to Randy Orton. And over the years, I've become neutral to him too. But I was a real big fan of Orton during the Ruthless Aggression era. I liked his legend killer shit because he showed some kind of charisma, at least, you know, during his whole like legend killer run. And the real shit was when he became the Viper, and you know, he decided to take out all his frustration on the McMahon family and Triple H and all that. And you know, I was always a fan of him. Like, I've always wanted to have him. Randy Orton was like a body goal of mine for a long time. Like, that motherfucker's just aesthetic, and like, no homo. But he's always found a way to keep himself in pretty good shape. You know, the man is 40 now, still looks like a star. And his finishing move is become one of the most popular finishing moves. You remember watching those little Vine videos with the RKO out of nowhere, and they get like the little Photoshop picture of him or whatever. Somebody busting their ass and like he RKOs them. So people who say, oh, it's just a knockoff Diamond Cutter, I'm like, yeah, the RKO surpassed a Diamond Cutter now. It surpassed a Diamond Cutter because it's on social media. But yeah, I fucks with Randy. All right, number 4, the motherfucking dead man, Undertaker. Dude has been around for over 30 years. That's if you want to count his, you know, Mean Mark Callis run in USWA. Yeah, I know my wrestling, motherfucker. But he always found ways to reinvent his character. And I know a lot of people may not agree, but my favorite variation of The Undertaker was the American Badass. Because you was able to really see him be himself. And bro, when he would come out to fucking Rolling from Limp Bizkit, yo, he made that song more popular than it already was. Like, you couldn't listen to that song and not think Undertaker. You know, American Badass was the shit. And then he became Big Evil right after that. Well, man, I miss that Undertaker. I wish he would have stayed that way. I mean, instead of him going back to Dead Man. But I understood why they brought him back to Dead Man. Because a lot more people knew about Dead Man than they did American Badass. But, you know, I hope one day before he hangs it up that he gives us one more run as the American Badass. You know, this is a guy who is a staple in the WWE. This dude never needed to hold the top title to matter. He always, whenever The Undertaker shows up, you know some shit is finna go down. You know something important is gonna happen. This dude never needed to be world champion. Yeah, he got his couple runs in, but he was always a guy that's willing to give back to the business. He's a guy that's willing to job. Sorry about that, I have to pause it. But he was willing to to do the job for the business. He was willing. He's always been willing to put people over. You know, a guy like him in the company has never complained about I deserve better and blah blah blah. You know, when there were stars who came in after him, guys like Rock, Austin, Taker. I mean, not Taker. Cena, Edge. You know, guys who became stars. He was always willing to help put those guys over for the business, and that's why, you know, I can respect that guy. And that's why everybody else respects him, because he's always putting the business first. Unlike these other guys who were just fucking marks for themselves and always want to be champion and want to be the top guy. But a guy like the Undertaker, like I said, he never needed to fucking hold a prop to matter, because his character speaks for itself. Number 3, people gonna give me shit. Fuck y'all though, nigga. John Cena, dog. John Cena was my motherfucking guy. I still fucks with John Cena. Yeah, he's a PG bitch now, but when he came in with this ruthless aggression and thugonomics, man, thugonomics used to be the shit. He'd come out and cut those promos and rapping. And I used to think like, yo, dude can't really rap for real, until I found some more little videos or whatever of him really spitting. And yo, John Cena can rap for real. I mean, the man did come out with a platinum album. Whether you like it or not, that shit is You Can't See Me album. I bought that shit in high school, bro, and that shit went platinum to the motherfucker. Man, you know, I was a big John Cena fan, and I remember when the smarks started to turn on him. And I was like, why are they booing this dude? You know, everybody wanted him to be the guy. Why is everybody booing him now? Because I remember my friends didn't fucking like John Cena. I remember we watched the New Year's Revolution. We ordered it, and of course the crowd booed him. And my friends did not want John Cena to win this match. I was the only dude that was rooting for Cena. You know, one of the homies wanted Kurt Angle to win. The other homie wanted Kane to win. But for some reason, we thought, yo, they might fuck around and put Chris Masters over and make him the youngest champion, whatever. Obviously, that didn't happen. You know, Cena won, and then, you know, motherfucking Edge cashed in Money in the Bank. And we talk about Edge doing heel shit that make you mad. That shit had me hot. And of course, my friends fucking loved it, because they're like, yeah, Cena's not champ no more. But John Cena's a guy who's always able to hold his frame and not really let that shit bother him, and just continue to be him. And you know, I've gotten to meet John Cena a couple times. You know, once at SummerSlam in 2010, I just got back from deployment, and I wore my uniform and shit there. And this was after they buried the Nexus. And, you know, he's walking through the crowd, you know, giving his fucking wristbands and all that shit. And he walked up and gave me one of his wristbands and fucking saluted me. And I low-key marked out a little bit. I was like, oh, fuck. John Cena just gave me his fucking wristband. This is lit. And then the following year, in 2011, they brought SummerSlam to LA again. And I got like the little meet and greet. And I went again in my uniform, because I came back from another deployment. And I got to meet him again. And he recognized me, which was really fucking cool of him. And, you know, he gave me like the autographed picture. And I took a picture with him and all that shit. Man, it's pretty fucking dope. So, you know, I don't know Cena personally, but at least from what I met him, he seemed like a pretty cool fucking guy. So, yeah, John Cena. Number 2. The Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. You know, he's one of those dudes who, he was really like the first fucking small guy to become a main eventer. You know, because he just exudes charisma. You know, he wasn't the biggest guy, but at least he looks like a wrestler. He can talk on the mic. He had a character, and he was very innovative. You know, with his stuff in the ring. He knew how to gauge people's emotions. I mean, he's a fucking cuck now, and he's a shell of himself, which I'm a little bit ashamed of, but you can't take away what he's done, you know, for the business and for the industry. You know, he was really one of the first people to like show like, hey, little guys can be world champs too. I mean, of course, the caveat being that you have to at least look like a wrestler, have a character, and be charismatic, because that was what it was. If Michaels didn't have a character, shit, he probably would have never been the guy. And he had the balls to step to Vince. So I mean, you got to kind of give him props for that too. He had the balls to motherfucking get in Vince's face a few times. And how can we forget? Yo, he's a OG of DX. Like he literally started the Attitude Era. I mean, some people will say Stone Cold, but yo, like the shit Michaels was doing like backstage and the shit that he was like doing for real, like that really kicked off the Attitude Era with D-Generation X and like all the shit that they was doing that damn near got them kicked off the USA Network. Yo, that was like the start of the greatest era in wrestling. And you know, too bad he had to retire, and he came back during the Ruthless Aggression era, and shit, he, if anything, he got better. And he also didn't need to have the fucking belt to fucking be a star. You know, he was still in marquee feuds. He was still in main events, but he didn't have to go over. He was actually putting other guys over. And for a guy who was a cokehead and became a born again Christian, who is a cuck now, by the way, I can respect that. I can respect that he gave back to the business at least. But stop being a fucking smart, HBK. All right. Now, before we get to number one, I want to give an honorable mention to Roman Reigns, because Roman Reigns is going to be in my motherfucking top 10 one of these days. He just needs a little bit more time, and he needs a few more years. You know, maybe a couple more title runs, and you know, get a little better on the mic. I mean, he's decent now, but just get a little better. And yeah, just wanted to put Roman Reigns in there because that's my motherfucking dog. And now, number one, my favorite wrestler of all time, the jabroni beating, pie eating, trailblazing, eyebrow raising. I don't even know what else to say, the motherfucking rhyme or whatever, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Dwayne motherfucking Johnson. That dude is my all-time favorite wrestler. I used to be that motherfucking dude who would go to school with the fucking fake microphone, wearing a Rock t-shirt, and cut promos on people trying to talk and act just like the Rock. We all did that shit, so don't judge me. But man, that dude was just, his character was just so fucking cool. You know, he's an asshole, but he was too cool for you to hate him. And he was probably the most over superstar on the roster, more over than Stone Cold, because no one knew how to grasp the fans like The Rock. That's where I will say The Rock was better at Stone Cold. It's like The Rock knew how to draw the fans in. He had all these catchphrases that everybody knows still to this day. They named a fucking show after him. You know, they named a fucking show after him. And he's still a big staple on the business today. And, you know, he still gives back and he still shows up. And I can respect that. This is another guy who didn't always have to go over to still be big. You know, he jobbed 3 straight WrestleMania main events, and he's still the fucking biggest star in the world. So, you know, I can appreciate that. You know, there was times where I feel like, especially the Kliq, tried to bury The Rock, but he still surpassed all that bullshit, and he's still out here motherfucking popping. People's champ. So, yeah, that's my top 10. I know a lot of these wrestlers that's on the top 10 are very recent wrestlers, but keep in mind, yo, I'm a 90s baby. You know, I'm a 90s baby. I'm finna be 30 this year. And, you know, these are the guys that I resonated with. You know, I know a lot of people will put like Hogan, Flair, Sting, and all that, but for real, a lot of those dudes were before my time. I mean, the only Hogan that I remember was Hogan in WCW. You know, because by the time I started watching wrestling, Hogan was already out of the company. So around like 94 when I started watching. And yeah, Hogan was already in WCW. So, And I didn't really watch WCW that much, but of course I can respect what he did. You know, he's definitely the biggest fucking draw ever. You know, he had the greatest heel turn ever. So yeah, but I just wanted to let y'all know that I'm aware of these other all-time greats and I know my shit. But you know, it's just for my top 10, these are the guys who I remember growing up watching. So yeah, that's my top 10 all-time favorite wrestlers. I know this shit dragged out for a long ass time. Shit, I'm gonna try to make another video a little bit later on. So bear with me, y'all. Y'all be easy. I'm out this bitch. Peace.